Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session. Has the MENA moment arrived for investors? Allow me to welcome my amazing panel with me, Mr. Yusuff Ali, Chairman of the Lulu Group International, Mr. Omar AlMajdouie, Founding Partner of Raed Ventures, Ali Ayub, Chief Portfolio Officer at Vision Invest, and Ganguly, Co-founder and Co-CEO of B Capital. We'll be talking about the Gulf region, investments here. We'll talk about technology, the platform play, and talent and leadership. Thank you all for being here with us today. And let me start with you, Mr. Yusuff. Lulu has invested almost 3 billion Saudi riyals in the region, in retail, and in creating a lot of jobs. So do you see the Gulf consumer and infrastructure story as a durable structure trend since you invested so much, or is it cyclical and it will move on to something else later?
See, in investor perspective, what the investor need, there's 4 important things that we have to think before investing in any country. Not only me, any investor. Visionary leadership.
Okay.
Strong economy. And security and good infrastructure. In Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we have got a visionary leader, His Majesty, King, beloved His Royal Highness, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, a great visionary, and economy is very strong, and also see the infrastructure how on time to time changing.
So you see that it will keep going.
And also ease of doing business. A lot of restrictions already lifted, and new laws are coming in the picture. So these 3, 4, 5 aspects for an investor is forcing the investor to invest in this great country, Saudi Arabia. We invested 3 billion. There was 2030 vision, which His Royal Highness declared. We, Lulu Group, as a retailer, we also decided to go with the 2030 vision.
Okay.
And we declared that 100 hypermarkets will be opened in all the parts of Saudi Arabia. Today we reached 71, including the commissaries of Aramco. So that means about 70% we reached.
Okay.
Still 3, 4 years. By grace of God, we will reach 100 before 2030.
That's amazing. After Saudi, the MENA region, where are you looking?
See, we are the largest, one of the largest retailers in Oman, Sultanate of Oman, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. We are also expanding because the main townships are extending because new generation, young population.
Okay.
So they are going out from the town. So we have to go there. We want to go to the people instead of people coming to us.
Thank you. Omar, when there's volatility in an area or in a market, whether it's geopolitical, economical, or anything, VCs are the first people to pull out. What makes you confident that the MENA region is the place to invest and to stay in? Is it only now, or will it last, in your opinion?
Interesting. So we started our investments back in 2015. And our ambitions were so much less than what we are having right now. So to be frank, actually, we invested in a company with the hope that we can have an exit at $100 million. And that was like a dream back in the days. Now we are exiting at billion plus valuation for that particular company. So the number of unicorns in the MENA region is actually much more than what we actually expected or projected back in 2015-16. Not only that, there are now a couple of companies who are actually paving the way to the first decacorn in the region, especially in Saudi Arabia. So we're talking about Tabi, who's now trading at almost $5 billion valuation. And they will actually list next year, we're expecting 6 to 7, with a path to $10 billion in very few years from now. So this emergence of the ecosystem is something that definitely outperformed our projections since the inception. Actually, we always have a projection of our, let's say, markups, which is TPPI or DPI or whatever, and in every year we are facing something that is, though, yeah, this year is better than what we expected. This year is better than we expected. So it's consistently better than what we anticipated from the region.
It will always be better, in your opinion?
So if you can remember, in the last 10 years, we had several incidents where actually were so opaque and so dark, like COVID, and like some other
Yes,
wars.
and the oil
still-
prices, we cannot forget that.
And and the market and the region actually flourished better and stronger after each one of them. So no, we are very ambitious about the region. We feel that actually we are at an inflection point where most of the legacy softwares that we are seeing now in enterprises, big enterprises, are now, it's time to change and to replace, and the homegrown companies that are creating software are actually the ones that will take over, for sure.
So you'll keep investing here?
For sure, yeah. We don't have any other way to do.
Only in Saudi or the whole MENA? Or
So our major focus is in Saudi.
Okay.
But we also are ambitious about UAE and the bigger and the GCC, with also more opportunistic eye on the other countries like Egypt, like Jordan, like Morocco. So we keep our eye open for great companies that are emerging from these countries.
Ali, I will move on to you. He's interested in investing apparently in something related more to technology. But we're asking again because this is what VCs go for mainly. But what you're looking at, infrastructure. Today with the vast investments that you have in infrastructure over the years, do you still see this ongoing as an investment, as an opportunity, or we will reach a point where you have to look at different things?
So I think the statistics everyone has been talking about all day today. So I'll stick away from statistics, and I'll talk about what the market is doing, actually.
Okay.
And when you look at it, 15 years ago, when we set up Vision Invest, there were only 1 or 2 local developers investing in infrastructure assets. And the governments weren't actually listing assets from a public sector perspective. But as the market has changed and evolved, you now see more opportunities to invest in infrastructure. So whereas historically you had 1 or 2 local developers who were struggling to find partners to invest in assets in the GCC, now you have a multitude of investors coming to the region. Every bid, be it water and power, industrial waste, water treatments, district cooling, you are attracting 7 to 8 developers from regions that historically never invested in the Middle East. You're attracting clientele from the US, Europe, and Asia, who see infrastructure as a growing asset class in the kingdom. And partly this is driven by the fact that as kingdoms look at the balance sheet optimization, how can they bring the private sector into delivering a lot more assets? So you see social infra as an evolving class. So schools, Saudi Arabia privatized 120 schools last year. That is a model that has existed in the UK for 50 years. It's only now just come into the region. But now you're seeing investors who invested in those asset classes in the UK now looking at Saudi as a market. So when you look at, has the time arrived? From infrastructure perspective, it has arrived.
Okay.
Because you're seeing international investors now coming into the market and competing with you for these assets.
So, international investors, let's go on to Raj. You have just set up in the region. What made you come here? Why is MENA for you maybe the next frontier or the next place to go to?
Great, and thank you for having me. So, you know, at B Capital, it's a global venture capital firm. We truly believe that innovation is global, that no one geography has a monopoly on entrepreneurs. You see, MENA has always had very successful entrepreneurs. You see Mr. Yusuff, he's obviously a very successful entrepreneur here. There's a long history of successful entrepreneurs here in the region. I think that the 2 additional things we're excited about is, one, you're starting to see the early parts of a circular tech ecosystem. It takes a lot to build a circular tech ecosystem. The US and Silicon Valley is still the most durable in the world. And the reason for that is you have more second-time founders, more third-time founders. You have companies that go public, the returns go back to the investors, and it gets reinvested again. We're still in the early cycles of seeing all of that here in the MENA region.
It's starting. We're starting to see it.
And so I think we should all be very realistic that it's still very early days.
Okay.
I think it's, but you see a lot of energy. in areas. One, you see a lot of energy here, which is required for AI. And second, there's a lot of energy in the youth in the region. And so, we've invested globally at B Capital from day one. While we're based in San Francisco in the Bay Area, we've had offices throughout Asia. Middle East has always been in our roadmap. And we think that this is the right time. It's probably a little early, but venture capital is always about being a little early. You don't want to be too early.
Than late, yeah?
And yeah, better early than late.
So you think this is going to be growing? You'll be moving in that direction?
That's our belief. There's a
it's
few
structural,
things,
not cyclical.
To Omar's point, it's great to see companies that are worth $5 billion, but you've got to see those companies IPO, exit, really become liquid and see that capital go back into the ecosystem. And so we hope we're going to see that over the next couple of years.
Yusuff, let's talk about technology and where it falls within Lulu's plans in the region. And now with all the new analytics, the tools, everything that's there, is it making your life easier? Are you incorporating it into your business?
See, now new innovation, new transformation, digitalization, artificial intelligence. Now this is part of not only hypermarket, supermarket business, but all the business. So we have to go and we have to get along with them. See now robotic plucking in our logistics centers.
So if you lose jobs due to that, what will you do?
Pardon?
If you lose jobs due to this?
See, that is a part of digitalization.
Okay.
That is a part of new innovations, new transformation. But in job is changing to another sector, that's all.
Okay.
Not the job, not losing the job, but we have to digitalize. We have to transform, and we have to be with the era, otherwise we will be backward. So in our case, we are doing this digitalization, transformation, and also artificial intelligence, and we are using robotic systems. All this we already introduced in our retail sector. Otherwise, we cannot sustain.
So you need to keep up with the times,
Yes,
with the changing times. Omar, I did mention that you are most interested in technology, but I mean, feel free to correct me if I just made an assumption. But let's talk about technology. Do you think that the MENA region can build a single scalable digital ecosystem, or will we still see fragmented regulations between different areas of the MENA region, especially that some of them have a better infrastructure to adopt technology?
Yeah. So, yeah, interestingly, some startups or companies are now adapting to these type of restrictions in market size. So you can see, for example, a company that, if you compare, for example, a company in US who's like vertically expanding in one product, here they have the luxury to actually expand in several products horizontally. And this is due to two things. First, the market size is smaller. Number two is that the competition is much less in every vertical that they can open up, adjacent to their main vertical, than what they can face in US. So US make much more sense for them to just have a single product scale up. Here, I think the companies are starting to adapt to actually serve the value chain of that particular industry. We have many examples on that, but this is exactly what we are noticing here. Number two, there is a new trend that we can see in entrepreneurs that are emerging from the region with a mindset to scale regionally and globally.
Okay.
So they are not restricted, or let's say they don't feel that they are tied to serve only one country. No, they can actually serve multiple countries. Actually,
they have
are
to
scaling
adapt.
up. But they need to adapt, and they need to first they need to have the right mindset. So the company should be built to scale from day one, not to build to serve a particular segment. And this is where I think it's different when it comes to product building. Number two is the talent pool. You need to actually acquire global level talent pool who can help you expand in these countries much faster without really going to the learning curve every time. So those are the two things that we are noticing. And number three, we see an influx of global investors. So B Capital now, they are interested in the region, but there are like plenty of others who actually came already here, helping these companies expand beyond the region, which is actually also a great value add for the entrepreneurs and founders here. So we've seen General Catalyst recently, we've seen QED, we've seen Sequoia India, and many others. SoftBank, so here Ahmed Hamdan, the founder of Uniphonic, who's preparing to IPO very soon, had actually the first SoftBank check, and many others, of course, but SoftBank is maybe the largest check in Saudi. So yeah, there are like plenty of global investors who have started to see Saudi Arabia and the region
So
seriously.
you need to speed up Raj a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, please. Let's speed up his move.
His move, his investments,
Yeah, of
his
course.
interest.
I'll just add to Omar's point. Omar made a really important point about building to scale. AI rewards scale like
Okay.
never before. You're seeing it. The biggest tech companies in the world are getting bigger. And the reason is AI requires capital and it requires data. And so scale is rewarded by AI. And one of the exciting things about founders here in the region is they are built to scale. They are thinking big. And you've got to really design for scale today, because if the value of the data is just immense, and we're seeing that the models and the training of these models requires a huge amount of data. And so, for the next 5 or 10 years, we think it's going to be a race to scale. And here in MENA, you've got to build super regional and global businesses, not even just businesses. Kingdoms and it is a big market in itself, but you've got to build businesses that really cross borders.
So Ali, to the point of technology, since we're talking about this, yesterday I was on a panel with Aqua Power and Masdar, which are both infrastructure and both in power, and they were both talking about how AI is helping them when it comes to data and how it's helping them collect data better. Would this be something that you might be open to looking into AI and technology into the infrastructure scene and in your investment portfolios?
So I think it's two ways to look at infrastructure from an AI perspective. The first is AI, how it optimizes the utilization of infrastructure companies. So the reason Aqua Power, which is a portfolio company of Vision Invest, uses AI is because you can utilize and understand demand usage. How do you build power plants? Where do you focus them? Where do you build the next population centers? How do you expand to that sector? So that's how AI is utilized in power. It's the same for sewage treatment plants. How many times does someone flush the toilet? So we can then sell that information to Lulu,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
How many toilet cleaners do you need to sell? How many toilet paper rolls are being used by a house?
How many times are
How
you
many times?
using the washing machine?
Washing machine.
Yeah.
So all of this is data that can be collected and monetized, right? But currently, it's not being monetized or utilized in the kingdom. But the second component of infrastructure of AI that people keep missing, and that Raj touched upon it briefly, is the infrastructure needed to employ AI. You need to invest in the power. You need to invest in the grid. You need to invest in the logistics sector to actually make everything that AI does from a scalable perspective then actionable. So it's great to have all these AI companies and structure, but you don't have the data centers to store the information, it doesn't work. If you don't have the power to power the data centers, it doesn't work. If you don't have the logistics to deliver the goods, it doesn't work. So we are very happy to focus on the back end, the hard end of AI, and let people like Raj and Omar focus on the front end of AI investment.
Raj, you did speak about technology, but do you see any extra opportunities from the conversation here?
I mean, I think one of the exciting things that we're seeing is the opportunity for AI, which leverages a lot of energy to actually optimize its energy footprint. So as you know, we're building the infrastructure today in the US, we're building the infrastructure for the next 20 years.
Okay.
And I think people should consider, there's a lot of talk of, are we in an AI bubble? We might be in an AI bubble.
But you have to be prepared,
But you
even
have to
if
be
it's
prepared,
yeah,
because the infrastructure we're building now is going to power the next 20 years, and the kingdom and the region has the ability to be a winner over the next 20 years and has to invest in the infrastructure, but also the energy management and usage to really be a leader, because in other places like US and China, the investment right now is happening very rapidly also.
So, let me ask all of you, don't you think the investment is happening rapidly here? Do you think there's more that needs to be done? Mr. Yusuff, let's talk about talent in the region.
Yes.
Once we look at that, is enough being done to educate, to build talent, to move forward, or should there be more?
No, see, the GCC visionary leaders, they are also investing to the market in digitalization and the new era, artificial intelligence, AI, whatever the new innovation, new transformation, they are also, government also investing and private also investing. So private, public participation also there. So we can expect that again the governments, the sovereign funds, as well as the venture capitals, they will invest more in this new era.
Where would you invest in the people of the region, other than, because I mean more than 5,000 jobs created through Lulu in Saudi Arabia alone. There are in the whole region many jobs created. Today, once automation happens and we move on to the next level and the next level, what can we do to help? What can we do to support in our investment in the people?
See, we should also educate them.
Okay.
We should also give them opportunity to learn the new systems, and we should utilize them because they are our children. Our future generation should get the job. That is our biggest challenge now we are facing. Now we will do that.
Omar, when we speak about investment in people and we look at the entrepreneurs of the region, what traits should they have in order to thrive in tomorrow's world and build better in MENA?
Yeah. So also the first question, I like it. So actually the gap, for the talent gap here in Saudi Arabia and in the region in general is expanding, unfortunately. Now the new science that every company should have is actually the AI data and data science. And we're not surprised that most of those talents are now in the US and China, with some who are coming, like spillovers, coming to the region for some reasons. But this is not enough. If we want to build the next level application layer AI companies, we need actually to have much more AI scientists and much more AI experts than what we have now. So there is a massive gap, and I hope that it's now the government is doing a lot of initiatives to do good things, but still the gap is big. So the only solution for so many companies is to establish other offices, remote offices, to just accommodate some experts here and there. Yeah.
Ali, I move on to you. And when large projects depend on diverse teams, so you have diverse teams, diverse management, what have you learned about building cross-cultural leadership under a lot of executive pressure?
So I think the key point, and this maybe touches the point what Yusuff and Omar talked about, is training and development.
Okay.
So when you look at it even from an AI perspective or technology, what you've seen is historically training and development wasn't a focus of many companies in the region. When you looked at their line items, budget, listed, non-listed, they didn't believe in training and development of their talent. That has changed over the last 3-4 years. And so what you're beginning to see now is companies realize they can grow their skill set, they have a skill set, they have to help the employees understand and prepare for tomorrow. So you see companies investing in AI, but actually building their own employee base to be prepared to implement that. And so I think maybe where I disagree with Omar is maybe I don't believe in outsourcing. I find ways of taking our existing employee base and skill setting them up so that they can move to the data scientist perspective. How do we give them the skills to succeed in the world of tomorrow? Because that knowledge base that they have is what actually goes into the learning models. When you write the LLMs and everything else, that is data that existed in someone's head, it existed in folders somewhere that people had. When you lose them, you lose the ability to actually understand what is real data and what is data that is noise. And so from our perspective, the companies now focusing on T&D, that's what the future is. Companies will have to become more aggressive in training and developing their talent to prepare for a technology world.
Raj, when do you think MENA should shift from importing talents to exporting them?
You know, I think MENA's always been an exporter of talent. If you go to Silicon Valley, where I'm based, we have a lot of great entrepreneurs from this region.
Okay.
So I actually think the question's not so much should MENA export talent, it's how can MENA keep all of the great talent that it has, and how can it attract? MENA sits next to 1/3 of Silicon Valley is populated by people who don't come from far from here. They come from South Asia. And South Asia is a hotbed of talent. That talent traditionally has gone to Silicon Valley through a program called the H-1B visa program. That program has become more restricted in the last 4 weeks. This is MENA's opportunity to take advantage of that talent that no longer wants to go or can go to the US and Silicon Valley. MENA should attract that talent here, and it should keep more of its great talent here. And one other thing it should do is to dream big, you have to embrace failure. And what Silicon Valley has is, as you heard me say, we have a lot of 2-time and 3-time founders. I didn't say they were successful.
Okay.
2-time and 3-time founders. We don't care in Silicon Valley. What we care is you tried. You tried to do something big. It didn't work. You try again. The U.S. is very unique in Silicon Valley. We embrace people who failed. We hold them up, and we give them credit. And we need to see more repeat founders here in the region, whether they succeeded or failed the first time around.
So we only have a minute, less than a minute left, so we need to wrap up. I'm going to ask all of you the same question, and if you can just give me a quick sentence. What do you think will make the MENA moment last in one sentence? What will make it last?
No, MENA will, again, the digitalization, AI, new innovation, transformation will go on.
Omar,
Geopolitical stability is the thing, yeah.
it's key.
I think this is the keyword, yeah.
Ali,
Say something different, governance. The increased focus on governance will make it sustainable long term.
Raj,
I think just human capital and talent.
thank you very much for being with me today, and thank you for staying with us. I know Etna was telling everyone to go and watch His Royal Highness. We're going to see what he says now. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.